Wonderful good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here at the group exhibit Hydrogen Fuel Cells and Batteries. We're here in the year of 2018 here at Hanover Fair. I welcome you to come and have a seat. There are two lovely ladies walking around serving you with drinks. They're all complimentary. It's all on me. Come and have a seat and enjoy our upcoming presentation regarding outlook of two very important studies. We will be discussing electrolyzers and integrated energy concept. For that, please welcome with me on stage the head of program mobility and fuel cell strategy of the NOW, Mr. Johannes Daum. Welcome. Thank you. So it's a pleasure to have you here on stage. The NOW has been here for several years now, and several speakers are providing us with inside information regarding the German government, what's going on here, how the politicians supporting the fuel cell industry. But for those of here in the audience, and also to all our online guests who are watching us via live stream, who is NOW?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me again. Great to be back on stage here at the Hanover Fair. NOW is a government-owned, federal-owned company. We are supporting the German Ministry of Transport, especially in implementing strategies and funding programs for, like, most of all alternative technologies in the transport sector. As our name says, the National Organization for Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technology, that was the first topic, but we started also with funding of battery electric vehicles as well as all alternatives in the transport sector.
Let's talk about the transport sector. What are the challenges in going to a zero-emission transport sector? How can we decarbonize it?
Well, the main problem is to decarbonize it. So we started with, when we look back at in 1990, that is the baseline most of the times, we did not reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the transport sector since then. We're at the same level. That does not mean that nothing happened. We had quite a significant rise in efficiency of transport, but also transport in general did rise a lot. So the targets that we defined, or the government defined for already 2030, with a reduction of 40% of greenhouse gases, they are really ambitious, and we need a very ambitious push to alternative technologies to still have a chance to reach that goal.
So what can we do? Shall we have a mix of technologies? Shall we just focus on one technology?
No, definitely it will be a mix of technologies. We will see battery electric vehicles, we will see hydrogen and fuel cell technologies in the transport sector. We will see biofuels and natural gas vehicles, but the main focus in the strategy and the political strategy is to electrify transport. That has also positive effects on the efficiency, and well, hydrogen and fuel cells are the next efficient technology, and we see that also in the studies that we're doing that hydrogen and fuel cell technologies will play a very significant role.
I would like to discuss these two studies that you have mentioned, or they will have a severe impact. There's several studies already out there. Why do we have another study?
It's always good to have a study to really have a funding or have a good foundation for funding programs. And we started with this study also to look from a different view on some of the topics to also include the import of energy carriers, synthetic fuels in such models, such studies that were a little bit underestimated in other studies in the last years. So we tried with the first one, with the integrated energy concept, to model a whole energy system, and not only the transport sector, but to include all sectors.
So what is the whole integrated energy concept? I often hear this word sector coupling. Could you please explain to those in the audience who don't know, what is this, the whole integrated energy concept?
Well, it is important to see that most of the sectors, when we switch to renewable energy, we need to include electricity in most of the sectors, in transport, in heating, but also in the industry. And well, that is the sector coupling. We couple all of the sectors with a supply of electricity, and therefore some technologies are like key technologies that play a major role, and that might, for one example, that is also electrolyzer technology to produce renewable hydrogen from renewable electricity.
Can you already share some of the outcomes?
Well, the studies are all still in progress, but we see in all modeling approaches that, well, as I said, electrolysis and the production of green hydrogen plays the key role, not only for the direct use of hydrogen in transport, but also for the production of electricity-based fuels, power to gas, power to liquid, as well as in the industry sectors for refineries, for example, or also in the steel industry. We see the electrolyzer as the main technology that is needed. And therefore we started also, or the Ministry of Transport commissioned also a study on electrolyzers and the industrialization of electrolyzer technology.
And especially the study on electrolyzer is something, the outcome is something new, because you did not only study the technology itself, but also the whole regulatory framework. So what needs to be done, what do we need also in terms of politics. So can you specify on that a little bit?
Well, that's like what we hope to get from the combination from the integrated energy concept study as well as the electrolyzer study, because we see that electrolysis technology is already quite mature, and the market can already fulfill the need for a higher share of electrolyzers, but we do not see already a framework, a regulatory framework that is sufficient, that the market really starts working. That is the main thing we hope to see from all these studies. What are measures, what are political and regulatory frameworks that need to be developed to really define and create a market for green hydrogen.
So it seems like the outcome is like a roadmap that can be used. So I would like to know who would benefit from the outcome.
Everyone, hopefully. No, it is on the one hand we see that for a technology provider we might create a view for a future market, as well as for politics we will see the need for a regulatory framework and what measures need to be implemented.
And this is my last question, since we are already a little bit over time. I would really like to know, in terms of the German energy transition, what are the next steps?
That's a difficult question. Well, next steps, we have the climate action plan that needs to be implemented, and therefore like roadmaps need to be developed. What are measures, what are also political frameworks and regulatory frameworks that need to be developed to really see alternative technologies in the market in all sectors.
So since everyone should have an interest in the outcomes of the studies, you can approach Mr. Daum after this interview, and he will provide you with information when the outcome will be discussed. It will be in summer this year, but you will provide more information. He will be available all day at the NOW booth, which is located at B59, so that is just across here. So once again, thank you very much. We are running out of time, unfortunately. Thanks for having you here.
Thank you.
Please stay seated. Our next talk will just start right now. So I'm going to skip the moderation because it's going to start right away.